Hello and welcome back to the Study Legal English podcast. I'm your host, Louise, and today I've got a very important announcement to make. Before the announcement, I've got a few things to say. Firstly, Happy New Year. I hope that this year is a good one for you and that you achieve everything that you set out to accomplish. Secondly, if this is your first time listening to the podcast or watching on YouTube, welcome. Thank you for joining me. And if you are a regular listener or you've, watched a few videos on YouTube, welcome back. And thank you for joining me too. I also wanted to ask, have you missed me? Because I've missed you, certainly. I've missed doing the podcast. You may have noticed that my last episode was way back in July last year. And my plan was to take a break over the summer and return to the podcast after a nice summer break. Unfortunately, I had a back injury over the summer and I had to have a back operation. So I really needed to take some time out from the podcast to ensure that I recovered completely. I can now say that I am better. And I am looking forward to getting back into the podcast and helping you learn legal English. So let's get started. What is my announcement? Well, if you're a regular listener, again, you may have heard me at various points over the past couple of years talking about a book that I was writing with Natasha Costello, a legal English course book. If you don't know Natasha, I recommend that you check out my podcast interview with Natasha in episode 87. Just go to studylegalenglish.com/episode 87. You're going to find it. Natasha is a brilliant legal English teacher. It's been a real pleasure working with her on the book. Now, we are very pleased to announce that this book is finally available to pre-order. It's going to be published at the end of this month. The book is called Practical English Language Skills for Lawyers, Improving Your Legal English. It's going to be published by Routledge at the end of the month, at the end of January. And as I mentioned, it's available to pre-order. You can find information about the book. Of course, if you Google Practical English Language Skills for Lawyers by Natasha Costello and Louise Gulbicki, you're going to find some links for the book. You can also go to bit.ly/legal English book. That's bit.ly/legal English book. I will, of course, leave this link in the show notes. Any links that I'm talking about today, I will leave in the show notes. So if you're listening on your podcast app, just look for the information about the podcast episode. If you're watching on YouTube, you can just go to the episode information below and you'll find that link. And as well, you can go to studylegalenglish.com/episode 125 to find all of the information about the episode. On that page, on the official Routledge book page, you can find information about the book, you can pre-order it, and something that's really great, in my opinion, is that you can view a preview. So you can actually see in that preview the introduction to the book. You can see a table of contents. So you can see all of the chapters and the subsections that each chapter includes. And you can see quite a large extract of the networking chapter. So you can actually see what kind of activities there are inside the book. Currently, as of the date of recording this episode, there's an offer for the book. There's a discount available on the Routledge site, and I don't know how long that's going to last. So if you want to take advantage of that offer, I suggest pre-order it now. You can also pre-order it on Amazon if you prefer to use Amazon. Note that the book is available as an e-copy, it's available as a hardback, and it's available as a paperback too. I would suggest, in my opinion, if you're looking to buy the book, I would get a paperback copy because in my experience, when I'm learning a language, I really, really like to have a book in front of me to look at rather than to have an ebook especially because this book has got listening activities. It's also got the answer key in the back. So at least with a real book, you can sort of quickly go to the back of the book and come back again and read the transcripts very quickly and easily. Whereas, in my opinion, with an e-copy, it's a bit more complicated. Then again, of course, that's my preference. And you might think differently. Anyway, in celebration of the book coming out, Natasha and I are going to run a webinar giving a sneak peek at the book. And if you're a fan of Stephen Horowitz, I know that I am, Stephen, who is Professor of Legal English at Georgetown Law, and he's also co-host of the US Law Essentials Law and Language podcast, along with Daniel Edelson. Both Daniel and Stephen have featured on my podcast. Stephen was in episodes 81 and 107, and Daniel was in episode 94. Anyway, Stephen has very, very kindly agreed to host the webinar for us. So I can't wait. I'm very excited, and I really hope that you can join us. So the webinar is on Monday, the 16th of January, 2023 at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central European Time, CET, on Zoom. I'm going to include links to register for the webinar in the show notes. So, of course, you need to register for the webinar. It's free, but you have to register to get the link. Again, you can find these links in your show notes. If you're watching on YouTube, you can find them in the episode information below. If you're on your podcast app, just look for the show notes. Or if you're confused, you don't know where to look, go to studylegalenglish.com/episode 125. You're going to find all of the links there. If you are thinking, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central European time doesn't really work for me, Louise. That's the middle of the night for me. I'm not going to get up in the middle of the night, even though I'm very excited about your book. I want to sleep. Don't worry, the webinar will be recorded and I will post it to YouTube shortly afterwards. So you can stay tuned for that. So finally, if you have any questions about the book, send me an email to louise@studylegalenglish.com. And that's it. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching if you're watching on YouTube, and see you next time.